Perfect. Hey, Sana. Welcome back.
Hey, Alison.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Good. So today is our third session together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping just to start by summarizing a little bit about what we talked about last week. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
So last week you brought in the concern around work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And feeling you were really excited about learning all of these brand new skills at the Summer Institute.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time feeling like you weren't going to be able to use those skills in your current workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And feeling like you were kind of at this crossroads about whether or not you wanted to stay in your job or whether or not you wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah. And since our last session,
Mm-hmm.
I've reflected some more on this and come to the realization that the reality is I need this job.
Okay.
There aren't a lot of full-time jobs where I live,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a pretty good gig.
Okay.
So I don't want to say I'm stuck because I don't feel stuck,
Okay.
but this is just where I need to be if I'm going to pay for my master's.
Okay. So coming to this acceptance that you were at this crossroads and saying like, I am going to stay at this job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with all of that in mind, what would you like to talk about today?
Yeah, so having said all of that, I still want to be able to utilize my skills in some capacity.
Okay.
Knowing that I'm not going to be able to use these skills at my work, I want to kind of explore how or where can I use these skills
Okay.
elsewhere, and what would that look like?
Okay. So how and where you could use some of these skills.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about these skills. What ones stand out to you?
Well, I just want to practice these counseling skills that I've been learning.
Mm-hmm.
So in my job, the critique is, oh, you're counseling, right? And it's like, just settle down.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to counsel
Right?
outside of my work, and I don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
That might be as simple as talking to my partner Mike and saying, hey, I just want to practice some skills.
Right.
But I don't know if that would be as beneficial or effective in maintaining
Right.
those skills.
So I hear you saying you want to continue to practice these skills,
Mm-hmm.
and but needing to look outside of your place of work in order to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So it sounds like maybe one of our areas of focus today is to figure out where in your life you could use these skills.
Yeah.
Does that seem
Yeah,
like a fit?
that would be really good.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's maybe spend some time exploring that.
Okay.
If you're okay with
Yeah,
that.
sounds good.
So when you think about this field of counseling, what excites you? Like, what do you get excited about practicing once you leave Summer Institute?
Just being with the person and
Okay.
exploring their problems, if you will, or
Right.
where they'd like to go, and also being curious about their existence
Okay.
and humanity in general. Like really
Right.
interested in people and how they come to where they are now and how they get to where they want to go. So that excites me. That like, ooh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. The word I just wrote down was curiosity.
Yeah.
And I think back to our last session as well, where we talked about your strengths and your ability to form relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if maybe part of that curiosity about people's experiences contributes to you forming those strong bonds with others.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. My curiosity, as well as I'm not afraid to talk to people and to explore their vulnerability.
Right.
In fact, I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Show me some emotion,
Yeah.
or let's be vulnerable together. Make me uncomfortable, but don't, I'll be comfortable with my own, discomfort.
Absolutely.
I would never say that to somebody, but yeah, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, really putting yourself out there,
Mm-hmm.
and by virtue of doing that, having clients feel comfortable enough to put themselves out there.
Just by being with them.
Yeah. So can you think of maybe any experiences before Summer Institute where you were able to do that?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, she has organized a group for Syrian refugees, for women.
Okay.
And so I've been a part of that. It was every week, but I think they're going to switch it to every second week. Anyway, besides the point. So I've been a part of, the goal of the group was, or the purpose of the group was to get these women who now live in Canada and fled their country, less than a year ago, and then to integrate them with Canadian women. So we're all women there. We learn about their culture.
Wow.
And they learn about our culture, and then coming to an acceptance with each other and just exploring each other's cultures. And
beautiful.
Yeah, it's really.
And I notice as you talk about it, like your face is lighting up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really become a part of my life.
Wow,
yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's one thing that comes to mind.
Okay, and so this isn't to do with work then. This is a separate.
No, this is totally outside of work.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's something I look forward to every Monday night. Woohoo! Yeah, I get to go to a women's group.
Awesome. Yeah. So something you look forward to also sounds like something that feeds into your need to be curious and to explore and connect with other people. And when I think about the program, also connects to some of those multicultural pieces that are really at the core of our master's experience.
Definitely, yeah, that's definitely been a great realization.
Yeah. So it seems like this group fits a lot of those kind of needs you're talking about.
Yeah, they do. Whether I'll be able to, I think I can use some of the counseling skills by the way I interact with them.
Totally.
But what else comes to mind outside of this group is I thought about setting up a young women's group. So I'm really interested in working with young girls, teenage girls, and empowering them. That's a fairly new idea, so I don't know how or where I'd go about doing that. But that's something that I'm passionate about as well, is to spend some time with young girls, teenagers. Okay,
and what about that stands out to you?
Well, I feel that, and not just teenage girls, but just for the sake of this group, I do want to leave it to teenage girls for now. I think, with today's society and technology, and there is a lot of dysfunction and separation and disconnect.
Right.
And a lot of teenage girls, they want to separate themselves from their parents, which is healthy. I see that as a good thing. But then also, let's talk about some very difficult topics or some empowering topics.
Right.
That kind of makes them think towards what is going on in their life and also their future.
Right. And then I'm thinking about you interacting in this environment where there's also a lot of kind of complicated dynamics happening where there's a lot to sort out, right?
Definitely.
Your curiosity can kind of go wild here.
Yeah. I mean, what am I getting myself into?
Right? That's a separate thing.
That's a separate thing. But yeah, just I don't want to say be their role model because that doesn't quite fit, but just be a safe person that they can talk to.
Yeah.
If they feel like.
Okay. So you've mentioned these two kind of potential projects, right? One being the group for the Syrian refugees and one being the women's group. And when I think about this and try to visualize it, I see this as kind of like an end goal for you, right? So what kinds of things may stand in the way from you?
Well, definitely time.
Okay.
I mean, the Syrian refugee group, the women's group, my friend organizes that and leads it, and so I just have to show up and be
there. So that's one that you're connected
easy.
To, and
As long as I can be creative in the questions that I ask and being present with them, I think that would be okay. This young women's group or girls group, I don't know what I'm calling it, empowering girls group. There we go.
Yeah.
That would definitely take some more time to organize. First of all, where am I going to go to find these girls?
Yeah.
How many? What does that look like? Once a week, once a month? What is the purpose of this group, and how can I get people to?
So there's a little bit more going on with the girls group.
More research, definitely more research and more work.
Yeah. So one of the things that comes to mind for me as we talk about this is that it seems like the group for Syrian refugees is already established, and gives you an opportunity to start to use some of the skills that you already have, some of those responding to meaning, the cultural pieces, which are really important to you, which satisfies some of those skills.
Yeah.
While this young women's group seems to kind of take it to that next level.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Syrian refugee women, I think we start again in September.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a way of getting those immediate needs met for continuing on and using your skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this other group, which requires a little bit more work and stuff to set up, kind of gets you to do that deeper set of skills that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we think about kind of looking forward over the next couple of months, does it make sense for you to focus on one of those or both of those at the same time? What do you think would be a good fit?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I really want to start this the young girls group. What's realistic though, I think is probably just to explore that a little more.
Okay.
Just in terms of what's it going to look like? How am I going to set that up? Who am I going to invite?
Yeah.
So it definitely would need some more exploration.
Okay.
So whereas the Syrian women's group, it's already there.
Right.
So it's realistic for me to just show up
So
and go.
to continue.
Yeah.
Okay. So does it make sense for that to be like a goal of yours, to continue on with the Syrian group with a focus of incorporating some of your skills into being present in hearing these stories?
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes sense that would be a good goal.
Yeah. And what about when it comes to the girls group? I'm wondering if maybe we can kind of spend some time thinking about that. Yeah, what do you think would be realistic, maybe over the next couple of months?
Well, let's say September.
Okay.
Well, August I'll start a little maybe thinking about it.
Okay.
Because I'll have some free time in August. Kind of what do I want? What is the purpose of this group? Kind of figuring out those basic questions, those beginner questions for organizing a group.
Yeah.
And then maybe start figuring out how I can implement that.
Okay.
From September to December. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, those sound like realistic timelines.
Yeah. And then maybe get it set up for spring or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it sounds like the first part of that goal is to just kind of explore this.
Yeah. Talk to some people. What do you think? This is what my thought is.
Yeah. So I'm going to suggest something a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Are you open to it?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to suggest some homework.
Okay.
Which isn't something typically I would suggest.
Sure.
But also seems to fit with this situation. So are you open to some ideas around that? Okay.
Definitely.
So conscious that going into August, we're going to be done school. And so you'll have more free time to be able to do some of this exploration stuff. So how would you feel about dedicating the month of August to exploring your dreams for this group?
Yeah, I think that's great.
That seems realistic?
Really good.
Okay, so at the end of August, what do you think would be good to have in terms of insights?
Yeah.
What at the end of August do you hope to be more clear about?
The specifics of the group.
Okay.
What am I doing with this group?
Okay, that seems like a really good place to start.
Yeah. And then from there it would be, okay, how many people?
Okay. Yeah, how many people? The more logistics.
Yeah.
Okay. So, curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important, 10 being very important, 1 being not at all important, is it for you to do some research around this group?
10 being very important?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely 10.
A 10,
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
So it's very important to you?
It is, yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm passionate about working with teenage girls, and I think it's a great way to challenge myself in a good way.
Totally.
And build on build on some of my strengths as well as incorporate some of those counseling skills.
Absolutely. And kind of same question, 1 to 10 scale, 10 being very confident, 1 being not at all confident. How confident are you that this is something you could do by the end of August?